Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Mm. All right, so what's up, y'all? You know, like I told you, like I'm here with Sunny Hostin. Sunny definitely be on the view, giving you all the views. And Sunny, you know, like, listen, I love politics. I love lawyers. I love the law, all of that. I don't like them laws who be coming through trying to really like shut us down and put knees on necks. I ain't with that. But I'm absolutely about the importance of understanding the justice and the system of the justice. So what a lot of people don't understand is what Supreme Court justices is actually really about. And when we talk about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the Notorious RBG, not to be confused with the Notorious BIG, the Notorious RBG, I feel like a lot of people are talking about it because they like, yo, she could die soon. She done really live a whole life. And so I would love for you to tell us, like, just speak to us about like, why is she so important and why is what we do next important in terms of the importance of what she is important about?
You know, it is so important that nothing happens to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And that is because there are 9 people on the Supreme Court and each of them gets a vote. And by and large, it's either 5-4 or 6-3 in terms of the vote. If something happens to her, God forbid, and she dies, the court can become very conservative. Now, what does that mean? Because she's a liberal justice. What does that mean? Everything that happens in our everyday life really stems from the court, the Supreme Court. It is the highest court of the land. People kind of think about the law and they think it's, you know, the police arresting you, the police giving you a ticket, the police that you see in the evening news. That's true. But really, your rights are ensured by those 9 people in Washington, D.C. So you think about the fact that Black people can now go to the same schools that white people go to. Supreme Court decided that. You think about women getting paid the same amount of money that men are getting paid. Ruth Bader Ginsburg made sure that that could happen. That was her decision. You think about women being able to go to military academies. That was Ruth Bader Ginsburg's decision. You think about women having the right to choose. That was the Supremes that decided that. So every big, huge decision.
Wade, right? That was Roe versus Wade.
Roe versus Wade, right.
Y'all be thinking I don't be knowing, but I be knowing. Okay, sorry, Sonny. I just had to let them know because they be thinking I don't know, and I do know.
You do know. So every big decision that affects our lives comes from those 9 people. Now, the court, because of Donald Trump, has become increasingly conservative. They really are not that interested in women having the right to choose. They're really not that very interested in equal schools. They're just not that interested in things that affect the lives of African Americans and Latinos, and really Asians either, any minority group. Also, think about the right of people being able to marry. Anyone can get married to the person that they love. That was the Supreme Court as well. So now you have a kind of a court that really leans to the right, really leans conservative.
And the right
and the right is generally wrong in my view. But if Ruth Bader Ginsburg dies before January, before this election, Donald Trump will have the ability to appoint one more judge. One more judge will cement the conservative bent of the Supreme Court for a long, long, long time, both of our lifetimes.
And it's a long time for those who don't know, because once you're on the Supreme Court, that's your job for life.
It's a lifetime appointment. You can't really get fired. I think maybe 1 or 2 people have been removed from the court, I think. But most people stay on the court and they die there. So we need to make sure, we need to send up our prayers for her because she has cancer again. She needs to be kept in a bubble. She can't get coronavirus. Nothing can happen to her. She's holding on. She's not going to retire. She says she's doing well, but people need to understand how very important she is to this court. And she's been very, very important to women's rights. She's been a fighter, a social justice advocate for years and years and years. And that's why they call her the Notorious RBG, because she's been fighting the good fight for a really, really long time. I've had the pleasure of meeting her, and I spoke on her behalf just last year at an event honoring her. And she is amazing, teeny, teeny, tiny. She's about 4'10", I think. But she is strong and wonderful, and she wears heels. She wears heels about this big, even though she's kind of getting up there in age, but her spirit is strong.
Well, can I just ask you one more question? Because I think when it comes to like what this Supreme Court is, when you talk about like, okay, it's 9 people, they're there for life. Mm-hmm. Like when I think about that, like that don't sound like a good setup for me. And I know that's like the way that they, you know, these founding fathers or whatever, like they put that together. But just like in your opinion as a lawyer, as somebody who, you know, has studied this and worked within the Constitution, all this, like, do you still feel like that's the best setup for how our whole like democracy works?
I really do. You know, I've had the benefit of studying what's called comparative law. So I've studied the systems of law around the world. Okay. I went to France and studied their laws. I went to England and studied their laws, which is where our laws come from. Our legal system is based. And I'm a member of the Supreme Court. I've written Supreme Court briefs. And I really do think when all things work out the way they're supposed to work out, we have the best judicial system in the world. The problem comes in when politics get involved. The court is supposed to be politically neutral. And what's interesting is oftentimes presidents appoint or at least nominate a Supreme Court justice, and then they get appointed after Congress vets them. And what's interesting is you think that they're going to vote a certain way. You think they're going to vote down political lines. They don't always do that. They surprise people. The Chief Justice has surprised people. Other judges have surprised people. But I will say that lately, the Supreme Court seems to have been acting a little bit politically. And I'm hoping that will change. But I do think that having seen the way the court works up close and personal, I think we have, I think the Supremes generally get it right. But I will say this, what is upsetting to me is that I think there should be cameras in the courtroom. There aren't cameras allowed in the Supreme Court. And that's unfortunate.
Because then we not getting to see how they come into the findings and like the decisions. And if we could see the process, we could see who said what and how it got there. Yep. Yes,
and let's face it, when you talk about the judicial system, African Americans are the one community that's affected the most by the judicial system. Exactly. We're affected the most. So we need to be able to see what's going on in the highest court of the land. And I really think they need to have cameras in the Supreme Court. It's an open courtroom. As United States citizens, we should be able to see what's going on. Right now, we can only hear what's going on. Every single hearing is audio taped, and you can listen to it. You should listen to it. You could listen to it at any time. But I think there should be cameras.
I'm with you. You know what? We in a new time. We in a new era. We got the technology. You know, a lot of times
exactly.
they do things because they didn't have it then, but we have it now. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I'm glad that we had you here to make it make sense, because I just want people to understand, you know, what they can be a part of. And when it comes to these Supreme Court justices, it's about how we vote, because that's who determines who's going to be on the Supreme Court. It's all connected. And let me tell you, These Supremes, they need to stop in the name of justice.
Yes, they do. And you know a lot. You're right. It's about voting, because whoever is the president gets to nominate the Supreme Court justice. And it's important. Gotta vote. You gotta vote.
It's the same way. It's like you gotta be careful who you make your baby daddy, because he gonna be in the mix the whole time, making decisions that affect your whole life. And if you gonna be in that situation forever, because once you have that child, it's forever, then you have to make the best decision. Some of y'all need to learn from that.
That part.
You know what, Sonny? You my dog. You my girl. Thank you so much for coming through and making it make sense. You welcome here anytime. Y'all know what it is. It's your Coussssin Sassy. Don't say I ain't never tell you nothing. Smart, funny, and